Hey guys, and welcome back to another brand new Attack on Titan video. And yes, first of all, before we actually get right into the video, I would like to thank every single one of you guys because we already reached the 12,000 subscribers milestone. It has been a while since I actually reached any milestone. The last one was 11,000, which is last year. I'm not sure which month it is, but yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to thank every single one of you guys for supporting and subscribing to my channel. It has been a very wild ride throughout the whole month of February because man, everyone just start watching my video more and more. So yeah, in today's video, it will pretty much be the second last good news video for Attack on Titan. So in case you guys are new here, what a good news video is, it's basically me talking about how good the stuff are for the particular episode, and for this one we will be talking about all of the stuff that is working on the part 1 of the final season part 3. This video will be quite long because I'll be explaining every single thing that we need to know about every single stuff that is working on the part 1 of the final season part 3. So sit down, get comfy, and let's just get straight into the stuff list. Right now, let's take a look at the stuff list for Attack on Titan, the final season part 3, part 1. So the script will be made by Hiroshi Seiko, storyboard will be Yuichiro Hayashi and Ryota Aike, and there will be 3 episode director, and they are Yuichiro Hayashi, Ryota Aike, and also Tokyo Igarashi. And there will be 2 chief animation director, and it will be Daisuke Ninuma and Manabu Akita. And there's actually quite a big amount of animation director. I'm not sure if it's 13 or 14 again. So these are the name: Mikine Kuwabara, Hiroko Komatsu, Masako Yokote, Park Dae-yeol, Jinshichi Yamaguchi, Akari Minagawa, Nana Fujiki, Kazuyo Nakamura, Min-ze Chu, Yoshimi Shizuka, Kenji Shinohara, Fumihide Sai, Michelle Sugimoto, and also the one and only Takayuki Sano. So I'll be looking at Vincent's thread on Twitter as a big reference for today's video. Big shout out to Vincent for making such an incredible thread. Please do check out their Twitter account. Please do check out the whole thread in the description of today's video. Obviously, I'll be giving my own input as well for every single part of this particular thread. So yeah, this video will be quite long, but it will be quite informative as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at the storyboarders. So before we actually get right into what Hayashi has done before, I would like to actually explain the concept of storyboard. Basically, they are the person that actually will be structuring how the anime will look like, what is the placement, how the perspective will look like in this particular shot, Basically, they are the person that is making the blueprint before actually going into the keyframe and such. Storyboarding is quite important to see how creative you are in making the scene. So we have Yuichiro Hayashi being the storyboarder for this episode. So I'm going to be giving my input first, and we'll be looking at what Vincent has to say. So this man, Yuichiro Hayashi, really went creative mode whenever he storyboards any type of episode in Attack on Titan. The way his vision makes the whole scene looks more cinematic than the manga already proves how incredible his storyboards is. As we can see from the 100 cam special program, his dedication for the show is just out of the world. He also storyboarded the My War opening, which in my opinion got to be the most unique opening so far. And not to forget, Hayashi also storyboarded all of the opening for my second personal favorite anime series, Hunter x Hunter. Yes, all 5 of them is actually storyboarded by Yuichiro Hayashi. How crazy, how small the world is, man. And since we've seen some of the storyboards from the 100 cam special program already, I am pretty confident that the storyboards in the first part of the final season part 3 will be phenomenal. Next up we have Ryota Aike. This is actually his first time participating in the production of Attack on Titan, and he actually storyboarded 2 episodes in Fire Force Season 2 and also episode 11 of Kaguya-sama Season 3. Other than that, he also storyboarded episode 11 of Osama Ranking, and he is also the storyboarder for episode 4 of Summertime Rendering, which is an incredible anime in 2022. And what I realizes from watching episode 4 of Summertime Rendering is the fact that there are actually quite a big amount of close-up shot whenever someone is talking. Not just a close-up shot of the mouth, but also every single movement. But I'm not sure if that's his particular style of storyboarding or not, but it's quite interesting. Ryota-san also likes to play with the perspective of wide shots, which is interesting because whenever there's like any type of wide shot and the cast is in the wide shot, he will always find a way to highlight the presence of the characters, which is very nice actually. Now if you don't mind, I'll just jump to the episode director section and then I'll be looking at what Vincent has to say. So episode director Yuichiro Hayashi. Hayashi directing an episode is a blessing. You know, it's important when the main series director is participating as a director of the episode. As we can see from the trailer itself, Hayashi loves emphasizing how terrifying the rumbling is. The amount of additional original scene will definitely be a lot. And as what I know from Dorohedoro, Hayashi really knows how to set any type of mood or any type of vibe. No matter what genre of anime he's working on, his direction on it will always fit the theme of the particular episode. And I am pretty confident to say that this 1 hour long episode will feel like you are watching a movie. Hayashi is definitely capable of producing such a masterpiece because man, I'm pretty sure he has been holding back all this time. Next up, episode director Ryota Aike. As I've mentioned earlier, it's his first time participating in an Attack on Titan production. Considering what he has worked in the past, the scene he is probably in charge of directing is probably the Arani, which is Armin and Ani boat discussion scene where Armin quote-unquote confessed to Ani, because as someone who has directed an episode in Kaguya-sama, I'm pretty sure he knows the concept of love, I guess, romantic moment, so maybe. Alright, those are basically it for my input for now. Now let's take a look at what Vincent has to say. Storyboarder and director Yuichiro Hayashi, the king himself. The series director has taken full charge of the series. We know him, we love him, but this episode will be his greatest display of control and mastery over the material. Easily the leading main production wise. Hayashi's vision for Attack on Titan has always been a clearer form, especially with part 2. A particular emphasis on color script, shadows and gore are highlights of the MAPPA adaptation, and of course, his expertise in directing CGI animation on screen. He may not match the contribution Araki made to Attack on Titan in terms of writing and visual identity, but Hayashi emphasizes in his storyboards subtextual themes from War Shock via episode 60 and 61, how war destroys home in episode 76, the cage of discrimination in episode 77, and now the completion of the Halos concept. If anything, Hayashi gives greater emphasis to new advantages Attack on Titan can bring to the anime medium, from emphasized colors, fabric animation, character acting to symbolism. But that is not to say Hayashi is sluggish at action. As shown in episode 76 and also 86 plus his other show, action is definitely not something that he is weak on. Next up, storyboard director Ryota Aike. If Hayashi is credited with someone else as storyboarder, the other persons often clean Hayashi's work, though likely adding their own contribution as Omine may have for episode 78. Aike is quite reputed for Kaguya-sama, Fire Force and Ranking of Kings. While relatively new, Aike has been quite a visionary, and Giri Giri will be the best example. The looping room and the varied battlegrounds of her imagining representing Kaguya's state of mind is brilliant, an interesting combination of romantic experience and good directional taste. Oh, I did not know that he actually storyboarded the Giri Giri opening actually. Pretty cool. Next up, we also have episode director Tokyo Igarashi. Igarashi is also quite new to the industry, much more than Aike, but he has contributed to the adaptation of 2 incredible episodes, the nostalgia-fueled call and the artistic tragedy of the dawn of humanity, and it seems like this core has both styles. His direction in episode 87, Dawn of Humanity, has to be highlighted because of the approach to coloring in chapter 132, which is where he has most likely contributed, and having 3 episode director, at least in this case, implies core 1 was 3 episodes. Maybe Hayashi handles 1 through 1 and the rest have the roles in the other 2 episodes, which is quite interesting. Now, let's take a look at the Chief Animation Director. Basically, Chief Animation Director are usually the one that actually corrects the character design consistency for like most of the frame in the anime. So they are also very important to maintain the consistency of the anime itself. So we have 2 chief animation directors and 14 animation directors. And recently Twitter has highlighted the roles of animation directors and the diversity and promise of their directions, including the weight adaptation with Kadowaki being the stellar case. If you guys want to see the guide for it, I'll be linking down the actual tweet in the description of today's video. But now let's move on to Chief Animation Director Manabu Akita. The Chief Animation Director with an apparent eye for eye shot and a hand in a lot of episodes. Being one of the 2 primary Chief Animation Director along with Daisuke Ninuma, one of his tells are emphasis on hands and plus lots of shadows on eyes and mouths, which to be honest I really rock with this type of correction to be honest. We already have confirmation of at least 1 frame done by him, so he'll be quite present through chapter 131 portion of the adaptation, and given his experience as character designer of Kakeguri, he will help make everything consistent to Kishi's design. Next up we have Daisuke Ninuma. Has really clean corrections and certain standout shots. The secret seems to be his ability to add layers to the characters and properly using shadows and digital lines to make every shot so lifelike in anime, and clearly involved in chapter 131 and 132. And man, I really love this one particular frame of Reiner from episode 2 of the final season part 1, and also the episode 11, I mean like episode 12 of the final season part 2, like this one shot of Eren. Both of this has a very nice looking digital line being used. He really knows how to use digital line for this one. Next up, we have the animation directors, basically person that will be correcting most of the animation cut and might as well contribute to actually animate some animation. So first one, we have Takayuki Sano. Takayuki Sano is actually season 4 or the final season Titan designer, and while his greatest challenge is next core, this one will still be a display of how he is probably the best at this game. Expect impressive levels of details as shown on his Genga. In general, Takayuki Sano is literally a genius at growing Titans, man. Like every single Genga Titans that he has drawn is clearly detailed and it looks incredibly well done. It's just that some shot was quite due to the composition of, yeah, you know who. But yeah, next one we have animation director Jinshichi Yamaguchi. Probably the strongest animation director outside of Sano. One of the known tells that a character is corrected by Yamaguchi is the shadows around the mouth and darker eye shading. His best correction revolved mostly around Armin, Ani, and Reiner. Blondes? Next up, we have Michelle Sugimoto, impressive animator whose identity was clearest in his key animation of Gabi's granite throw in episode 60, which is episode 1 of the final season part 1, attention to camera angles plus distance, and also Levi's entrance in episode 6 of the final season part 1, and the Magat cannon scene with great fabric animation. He also follows Akita's style more. Next animation director we have Mikine Kuwabara, another veteran from the final season and the anime industry. He is also known as chief animation director for episode 87, which is the final season part 2 episode 12. Recently involved in the Berserk Memorial Edition following up on the original movie trilogy. Next animation director we have Hiroko Komatsu. Quite an experienced talent for helping cleaning Hayashi's storyboards like in episode 78, which is the two brothers, and handling multiple episodes of the final season. Much participation in Hayashi's Dorohedoro and many MAPPA shows like Banana Fish, Inuyashiki, and also Remain. Next up, we have Fumi Hidesai. Has been around since the start of the final season and quite experienced. Interestingly, some of his corrections feature greater emphasis on digital lines. To be honest, digital line has been my problem since like the first part of the final season. They have been overusing some of it, and what we can see from Fumi Hidesai's correction, I really love how he is using the digital lines quite geniusly. Just like what Daisuke Ninuma did, they really know how to use the digital lines smartly. Next up, we also have Park Dae-yeol. Noteworthy participation in episode 61, which is episode 2 of the final season part 1, through corrections in the actual midnight train scene and Reiner's memories, as well as episode 77 via the best Yelena illustration ever, and also other content. Next up, we have Akari Minagawa. Prior to Attack on Titan, she had worked on Gintama. Current works including Tag Opus Destiny and Raven of the Inner Palace. Made lots of cute illustration for Christmas and also episode 84, and has made correction for episode 75, 78, 79 and episode 87. Akari Minagawa has always been someone that is pretty much active correcting cuts in almost every single episode of the final season, which is nice to see Akari Minagawa to be back in the final season part 3. Next up, we have Nana Fujiki. Interestingly, this person has experience in season 1, episode 18 key animation, far ahead than most of the stuff here. After 10 years, she returns. Full circle, I guess. Also, her first work as animation director rather than doing key animation. So let's see what she has to offer. Maybe she will be doing another key animation for the final season part 3? Next up, we have animation director Kazuyo Nakamura. An animator who has worked on the previous season of Attack on Titan and actually is the first time being animation director for it, though has experience in multiple shows like Tokyo Revengers, and they also did this one particular layout of Armin Blushing Frame. Next up, we have Ming Zejun, an animator who was around for the final season part 2, being the animation director for episode 80, 81, 83, 86 and also 87, ooh, as well as on other shows like Black Clover and also Tag Opus Destiny and also others. Next up, we have Yoshimi Shizuka. Worked on the final season part 2 on the episode 81, 85 and 87, and as animation director for the first time as well. And also the key animation for numerous mappa shows such as Yuri on Ice, Banana Fish, Dororo, Dorohedoro, Garo the Vanishing Line. Other than mappa shows, we also have their work on Tokyo Ghoul and also Spy Family and also more actually. Next up, we have Kenji Shinohara. Quite an experienced name, having even worked on key animation for the original Neon Genesis Evangelion movies. Worked on episodes 78, 80, 84, 86 and N87 in the final season. Overall, the episode expects to be MAPPA's best in terms of quality, from much improved 3D and ODM gear animation to cleaner composition and a more robust production in general. Let us enjoy the 60 minutes movie-like experience to the fullest. This is partway to the end of Shingeki. And those are basically it for Vincent's thread. A very well written thread. Props to Vincent for doing such an incredible thread. And yeah, those are basically it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys now understand how impressive the stuff are for the final season part 3. And yeah, it's going to be my second last time saying this for an Attack on Titan Good News video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys are also excited. By the time I upload this video, it's probably on the 1st of March, so there's around 2 to 3 days left, and I can't wait for it, like seriously. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!